How's it going, everyone? It is TheStarkz here, and welcome to yet another The Last of Us Part 2 video. Today, I've got very interesting and exciting news for The Last of Us, and a potential, announcement for The Last of Us Part 2 before E3 2019. And this is, of course, an article I pulled off of Games Radar. I was supposed to make this video a little earlier, but things came up. However, it's by Alex Averd, and essentially, he says that with Days Gone finally out of the way, the rest of Sony's 2019 schedule for PlayStation 4 exclusives is looking unusually bare bones right now. Neither Death Stranding nor Ghost of Tsushima have confirmed release dates, which I did mention in my previous The Last of Us video, which I'll have linked in the description below. Anyways, back to the article. But the most anticipated first-party title of them all, The Last of Us 2, seems the most likely to be the one that arrives later this year. We've had store listings and tacit confirmation from the PlayStation Store itself that Naughty Dog's dystopian sequel is launching in 2019, and now a new hint from a games industry insider suggests we'll be hearing more about the title very, very soon. In a Reset Era thread discussing The Last of Us Part 2's potential release date, a user by the name of Aikajai, sorry I butchered the name there, who accurately leaked the existence of Sony's State of Play internet show before it was announced earlier this year, said that, and I quote, "Considering we're getting an official TLU 2 update before E3, it would be really weird if it wasn't 2019, now wouldn't it?" End quote. The E3 2019 schedule kicks off as early as June 7th with, obviously, EA's Play event, which means, according to this tease, we could be seeing new gameplay for The Last of Us Part 2 in less than a month. Interestingly enough, Hideo Kojima teased a new trailer for his next game, Death Stranding, just yesterday or 2 days ago, suggesting we could be seeing another State of Play show at some point in May or early June. This would certainly be the best way for Sony to keep up with its player base and make them happy despite its absence from E3, and the tech giant may even reveal more about its announced PlayStation 5 console, despite recently stating that the next-gen hardware won't be out till May 2020 at the earliest. Now, obviously, this is very, very exciting news, not only for us PlayStation fans, but for myself, obviously, and just PlayStation in general. And I actually don't believe in the rumor or the speculation that we'll have The Last of Us as early as May. I think we're going to get it in June. As I've predicted for State of Play, I think, they said they're going to have a couple episodes every year. It doesn't make sense to have it in May if you can have it in June to compete with people like Microsoft and Nintendo and EA and all these different people. Obviously, Sony likes that competition, and it would only make sense to release it in June. So, obviously, we had the first State of Play episode on March, unless I'm forgetting, but yeah, March, April, May, June, yeah, we had the first episode in March. I don't know why I'm doubting myself, and then I think every 3 months, so March, June, September, and then December would make sense. Now, I don't know about December because obviously there's PlayStation Experience, but I mean, I think it just makes sense to have 4 solid episodes every 3 months of the, or every 3 months of the year to keep up with competition. March is a dry period normally. Put an episode in March. June obviously is a big event for gamers with E3, and obviously Sony wants to keep up with that competitive edge, and it just wouldn't make any sense for them to have an episode in May and then kind of lose all the spotlight for when June hits. Now obviously that could be a strategic point as well. Maybe they're confident in The Last of Us and all their different things that PlayStation has to offer, and that they think that if they do it in May before E3, that not a lot of people will put a lot of attention to Microsoft, Nintendo, and all these different platforms. However, I don't think Sony will do that. It just doesn't make any sense. So in this article, I actually don't agree with that speculation. However, I do think we're going to get The Last of Us Part 2 this year. Obviously, we know that Neil Druckmann and all the different directors or individuals working on The Last of Us Part 2 has completed the mocap. Obviously, I think there might be, additional mocap scenes that they might reshoot or whatnot, but generally they are essentially done the mocap for the main story, and that means we can be getting The Last of Us 2 by the earliest September or even November, maybe even December, which would be cool. You know, a holiday release would be very, very interesting. However, I must say that obviously with Uncharted 4, it released in May, and 7 months later they had announced how the mocap was finished. So by this logic, The Last of Us would essentially be, you know, from 7 months from now, it would be released for around October or November time, and I think that's a solid date. Obviously, we don't know the status of Ghost of Tsushima or Death Stranding or other games like possibly Spider-Man 2 and possibly God of War 2, which I don't think we're ever going to hear from until the next 2 to 3 years. However, The Last of Us 2 has been in development for a long time now, and while I think Ghost of Tsushima might also have a release date this year or even 2020, early 2020 that is, I think The Last of Us 2 would be more appropriate to come out this year because I just don't see it coming out spring. I really don't. However, obviously, I think that because Naughty Dog's a company which deserves a lot of time, despite the many years that they've been working on The Last of Us Part 2, that in a year from now, May, for Mother's Day, The Last of Us Part 2 could come out for 2020. As much as I would hate that to happen because of my anticipation and hype buildup for this game, I think that would be a solid place to put it. You know, have it come out around the same time as the first game, although it technically June 10th, I believe, was the day it came out. But nonetheless, having it come out around summer, late spring, early summertime is a perfect strategy for PlayStation and for Naughty Dog, despite not enjoying that. However, of course, I think it could still come out for 2019 for the holiday season. Of course, let me know your comments in the comment section below regarding this potential 2019 release window for The Last of Us Part 2. Let me know in the comment section below, like I said, your thoughts of the game in general and this news. I'm going to leave the article in the description for you to read, along with my previous The Last of Us Part 2 is coming video. And with that all being said, I've been TheStarkz. Peace.